Over a year ago now, I got these two fish, a female Tequila sunrise guppy and a male blue Moscow guppy. From this crossbreed came this beautiful F1 generation, and you might have seen a video about these stunning fish a little over half a year ago. These fish, being guppies, had children of their own, of course. About 8 months ago, I put a few batches of their fry in their own tank, and these form the F2 generation, the grandchildren of the initial fish. So today, we are going to take a look at the F2 generation of this crossbreed. Many of you have been requesting this video and it's long overdue, so let's begin. Whereas the F1 generation all looked very similar, there is quite some variation in the F2 generation. When you look at them like this, you might think they're all completely different, but there are a few groups that look quite similar. So let's take a closer look. Also, quick fun fact, all that Java moss grew out of a single string of moss. So here we have the first category of fish in the F2 generation. These are the males with a large grey/blue tail. Some have a white outer edge on their tail. Some have a large dorsal fin with the same grey-blue color. Some have a white dorsal fin with black dots. They all have a grey body that, depending on the light, appears blue or even green. Some look like they might be full Moscow guppies. Either way, they are all metalheads. These males have a dark coloration on the head, caused by the Moscow gene, which causes so-called metalheads. Their caudal peduncle, that's the part between their dorsal fin and tail, is bright yellow. The same yellow extends into the tail, where it is surrounded by a deep red color. The dorsal fin is also red. Then we have the males that look like they're dead, which are again all metalheads. They have a cobra pattern on their caudal peduncle and a deep red tail and dorsal fin. If we look at them from the top, we can see that they also have the pink iridescent scales on top of their caudal peduncle, which I think is very cool. Here we have the only yellow-bodied male from this batch of fry I've raised. The body is a bright yellow color, and you might be able to see some red spots forming on the caudal peduncle. I think, from my experience with yellow guppies in the past, that the entire caudal peduncle will turn red over time. The tail and dorsal fin are a mixture of white and yellow. These are the yellow females. They're yellow. In the video about the F1 generation, I hypothesized that about 25% of the F2 generation would be yellow. In the fry I raised, that percentage is quite a bit lower. I think that might be because the yellow guppies could be weaker. It looked like a higher percentage of the yellow-bodied guppies died before they reached adulthood. All of the grey-bodied females look quite similar, but I still divided them in 3 groups. These fish have quite dark tails and dorsal fins. These females are less dark and they have a black and yellow mosaic pattern in both tail and dorsal fin. These are the brightest females. The mosaic female looked way brighter in the tank than the other mosaic females, but it doesn't look that different here, to be honest. Anyway, the other female clearly has a very yellow tail. She is also very pregnant. These aren't all the females, but they all look quite similar, so you get the idea. Before we move on, let's appreciate just how glorious the tail from this male is once more. These are the mothers or aunts of the females you saw earlier, and if they're lucky, they'll get tails just as big as these. Because these fish have quite big tails for female guppies. they are also very annoyed with me for putting them in there. These are the F1 males. They are all metalhead guppies because they inherited the Moscow gene from their father. The Moscow gene causes metalheadism in male guppies. The Moscow gene is located on the Y chromosome, therefore a male carrying this gene will always pass it on to its male offspring. This is also why the males in the F2 generation, sons of the F1 generation males, are all metalheads. I guess that is true even for the yellow male, maybe just not that visible. So, that's what the F2 generation of this crossbreed between a blue Moscow and a Tequila sunrise guppy looks like. My plan now is to move all of these guppies, the F1 and F2 generation, to my mud guppy tank to reduce inbreeding in these fish. So I hope you like this video and this project. I do realize that this isn't the most popular series on the channel, but I hope those of you who did watch it enjoyed it. And who knows, maybe we'll do another guppy or not guppy crossbreed in the future. That's the end of the guppy part of the video. Now for something different. When the water level in the F1 tank is just right, this happens. I tried filming it in slow motion a few months back and this is the result. This is a really cool phenomenon which is kinda hard to explain. Luckily, Destin from Smarter Everyday made a video about it called The Walking Water Mystery. I suggest checking that out. That was all. Bye.